Kathy Vik, Deeply Awake, Chats 2017. Well, I had a day, and now I'm back home. And the thoughts are pretty strong tonight. And so I'm going to just do this and then move on. I've been very aware all day long in ever increasingly cogent messages. It was very clear to me, especially by this evening, that what is happening here, at least for me and for my companions energetically, I am beginning to realize that I really want a big reboot. What I mean by that is I've really been thinking, really, a lot of spiritual work comes down to, finally, after puzzling on something for sometimes decades, there's a flip that happens. And once that flip happens, you can see things so much clearer, and it's like, oh, no wonder I could never solve this problem. I just was looking at it wrong. And that experience has been happening to me. It's really fun when it happens, and it's really fun when even you get a little bit of a hint of it. Sometimes I'll be watching something, listening to something, reading something, and all of a sudden, there's this swell of realization. Then I stop what I'm doing and just stay there and let it filter through. Today, the message really was, it wasn't, let me see, how can I describe it? It was, I felt like I was being notified of what was available for me, and that it's very appropriate right now to consider this a real option. What is this? This is on, for me, obviously, for me, May 25th would be appropriate, right? It would be pristine if it would be timed in such a way. If it isn't, okay. But a moment that is in context with something that allows me to hang it in time and meaning, where it's not just one relationship or one aspect of self or one pursuit that is seen more clearly. It's not just sociology, it's not just geopolitics, it's not just the government, it's not just the Illuminati. I'm seeing differently. No. It's not just my emotions, my history, my interpretations. It's so much more. I know what that flip is like. And it doesn't matter that the house is on fire anymore. It doesn't matter that all is lost. It's like this feeling comes over you, because you realize in the moment where there are bullets flying, you are bulletproof, and you're not part of this scene, and you walk away. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen in the moment, okay? But I think there's a part of us that always knows we're going to move on. We're going to move on from this. that there is tomorrow. Now, that's something that wasn't available to me as a person. It's like a revelation for me to trust that tomorrow's going to come. Because A, I never wanted it to, and B, I was convinced that when tomorrow came, it would be another shitstorm. So I didn't really have any faith in tomorrow. So I sort of just blocked it. And that's why it's important for me to hook into having things to remember, to look forward to. Because it's retraining me. Of course, if the future is blocked and you've got an active mind, then looking at the past and looking at self and looking at present and stuff becomes, the task at hand. So for me to be hooked into the future in the present is a big deal. It tells me that my object permanence is coming online, because that's always been something that has been hard for me. And the thing is that because of the insights that I have gained, and it's been a couple week process, I'd say, since the eclipses. And look at, that's been 3 months already. But it feels like yesterday, in a way. And in a way, I'm really, really grateful that 3 months has passed, because it took time to settle into this. Because what I sense is this is really, truly, what is in front of me is like a light switch. I've not allowed myself to even consider that notion. Sure, there's the fantasy of trotting up on a hill and blasting into light. There's the fantasy of going up to Leadville and going to see the sisters and being in that area and spinning and being invisible to my compatriots. No, this is different. This is immediate and real. It's not theoretical. And I'm already seeing it happen, basically. And as a result, there are certain things that I'm thinking new thoughts. I'm behaving differently. Is a real big shift. But I don't think it's done. I think this is only the beginning, and that's why I mention a switch or a flip. Koan cracking is like that. It's very finite. Yeah, you can go at the koan many different ways, and like I've said, for years and years and years. But once you've cracked it, it's a cracked koan. It isn't what it once was. It hasn't really been vanquished or slain or subdued. It's been incorporated. So, it's good to speak these words. Speaking them makes them so. In a funny way. And I have wanted a defining moment. That one moment of true and utter clarity, from which I never leave. I stay there. And I had a really beautiful experience on Christmas Eve of 2012, knowing that that's where I want to be. The same kind of longing and soul completion kind of feeling that I got when I felt my Merkaba spinning for the very first time. It's so intoxicating. It's all that matters. The spin is all and the all is spin. So, having had these moments of ecstasy and clarity and such indescribable love from Source, for Source, as Source, with Source, that's where I always want to be. Why would I want to be anywhere else? And when everything turned golden like that, and I really, really saw the truth of it, how utterly, deeply, I always use the word desperately just to say how consuming and true it is, how much we love each other. We love each other so much. But wow. Walk around knowing that and try to reconcile the behavior you're given. I don't know about you. Maybe you're surrounded by kindness. And you know what? For the most part, I am. But wow, do I have contrast. And I'm really coming to terms with that in a way that just has so much humor and goodwill. So I'm open to a switch. I can see how it went from having just a big hit of light and then confusion, and to have that confusion really be the bass note that sort of drowned out a lot. And through this process, my internal noise was reduced, and I've talked about how it was really weird last year how the noise stopped. And it really is, it stopped. It's nice. And there's always the knowledge of what's going on and just the general feel, and that's just me sitting in my living room, so you can imagine how much data comes to me when I'm physically with other people. But the static, there's this gray, scratchy stuff that I can't hear anymore, and it makes everything easier to understand because that's reduced. I see these incremental changes. I see more light than dark, and I see more self-trust than self-doubt. I see more hope than hopelessness. I'm still working on willingness. Willingness is a big one. But it's on me. And if I have a straggler in my psyche, that's fine. I have a lot that I've caught up to. So it's perfectly fine if I have a straggler or two. There's not anything that's going to stop the show. And so whether for me some big huge event happens on the 25th of May or not, I doubt that. All I'm saying is that I can see just the numbers of reaching a critical mass where there truly is an even more pronounced tipping point. Yes, there's been a change in the gradient, but I'm talking about a real, just a moment. This whole journey is one of self-discovery and self-definition. And so for me to start getting the hit that I really can look forward to an event which alters me for the rest of the show and allows me to continue more unencumbered than before. That I've earned that I know how to do it, that it's my inheritance, that I have the skill to effect the change. I have my team. So, it's nice to get warning, isn't it? I'm ready. I'm more ready now than I ever was. I wasn't ready before. But, curiously, things have been happening which tell me it's okay. So, I don't think that I'm talking about transfiguration or transmogrification or whatever. And probably just a moment that I recognize as special and important, and maybe come to you and say, hey, guess what happened? But God, after all this work, these changes are beginning to show. They shine through my skin. It catches me unaware when I'm passing past a mirror. And I remind myself. It's making it real. And breaking the last part of the defense, the doubt. So, we'll see. But I'm confident. Something big is coming. And I'm really glad of that. And I'm feeling different. Less concerned about things that used to concern me a lot. So, that's great. Well, I'm going to go now. I have pepper in my shoulders. It's like that icky pepper feeling. It's kind of electrical and like sand, but it's peppery. It's hot, kind of. Feels like hot sand, hot pepper, right here and right there. And I was having that in my legs for a while, and so I feel like I'm being pushed from the back. Hands are pushing me on my shoulder meat. I don't know why. To study something? To hunker down? But from the back. I don't know what it means. I think, oh, well, perhaps that's my wings. It's not. It's something else. And I have an idea what it is, but I'm not ready yet. One more day. So I'll spend my one more day. I realize that something quite large is coming. And it's good. It's not a bad thing at all. This alone is just, it's worth it, isn't it? Do you work with yourself this way? Have you ever seen anybody else work with themselves this way? I can feel it. And I know what's involved, and I know what I have to do to like spark the fuse. And that's what I said. I'm just not ready. I need one more day. Because I know that once I start, it doesn't stop. And before, the reason that I never started was because it just felt like work. Now I'm hearing numbers, and I'm not being given images, but it's like a real deal. It's like a done deal. I don't know what it's in regard to. What I do know is that it's like a complete, like, boop, 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 like that. It's like lifting everything up, moving it, shifting it, and putting it down again. And I think to myself, well, I'm not really sure I want to move my structure, but it's like the bottom part doesn't move. It's only the top part, and it goes doot, 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 doot. So, I keep hearing structure, structure, structure. And I keep seeing squares and rectangles. The four, structure. Foundational stuff. I don't sense any conflict. I sense this feeling of surprise, of just, and that's what I've been reminded of the last couple of days, how natural and easy things that are really right on time and on purpose, how they go. There's no work, there's no worry, it's just smooth sailing. And that's what I sense. Just no pushing, no. Yeah, and it's not like it's any particular thing. I can't really say what it is. But and I'm thinking, well, what does it feel like after? That might be important. What does it feel like after? And it's just, I don't sense that there is an after. Meaning that I sense that it's that amperage or amplification that just goes forward. That it's curious to say that there's no after, but there's this thing, and maybe it's just a thought I have. I don't know. Maybe it's a good night's sleep. I don't know. And then, but I sense after that, just an opening of, I see a big, big, big pipe with waters going shooting out of it. And that's kind of how I feel. So there's really no, to say that there's an after means that I'm comparing it to before, and there's really no before, so there's no after. Does that make sense? There's just this reality. So I say, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been training up. I got my hit of light almost 5 years ago. And to really grok it into every cell, into the space in my bones, those caverns. From there, knowing the truth, the validity, the appropriateness, the depth of all that I am. Maybe a transfiguring moment, perhaps. I've been leading up to one, I think. I think I've earned one. And I've been reminded the last couple of days, it's important to get back in gear and remember where I'm at temporally, and to plug myself in to the time aspect, because being functional in the time aspect is an important part of it. And it's not because I'm a moral failure if I don't have my 2 feet firmly on Mother Earth, but I get more bigger goodies if I'm really invested. Since this is a physically based reality, at least that's what we're told. All right, so I'm very tempted to talk about what I'm seeing in the government right now, but I'll leave it be for the moment. America has a lot of issues she's working on right now, so she's in a acute phase of awakening. So there are no holds barred. There are wild cards galore. There is nothing but benevolence from here to eternity. And such hubris and such laugh out loud comedy, because it is just, it's beyond the pale. So, boy, we're not talking subtle. And that's sort of the point. The lights are on. The contrasts are stark. Perhaps even in your life, yes? Certainly in mine. And I'm grateful for that too. Man, am I glad that the last of the gray wash is gone. And that awful, boring sort of, how am I going to manage this boredom and this boredom and this boredom? That's gone. The gray, the beige, it's gone. All right, so I guess that's all I have to say. 3303. It was 30:03. Whatever, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, thank you for checking in. It's really cooking. It's getting good. And I'm very curious how it is with you. I hope it's well. I hope you are well. And I hope you know peace.